And everyone here, this is Encounters, and it's a great evening on Encounters, those just coming in here to the show. I'm CmdrAleon, your host for WESUFM.org, NPR Pacifica Radio. Also connected with the Ashtar Galactic Command for over many, many years, and also a contactee from the 1960s. Just give you a conduit for the Cosmic Christ. I also do workshops here in New England, taking people on journeys off planet to a ship as big as the planet Earth, a planetary ship, a golden ship. And I've done that for a number of years. So if you're just coming into the show, welcome. Welcome, everybody. It's a Monday night. Hope you all had a good Christmas, a 3-day weekend. If you were working, if you're retired, I hope you just enjoyed whatever you're doing. And it's good to be on here. It's been a beautiful, beautiful weekend. And we got another weekend kind of coming up, a 3-day holiday between New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, going through the weekend again this year, everything falling through the weekend into a Monday. So that's pretty cool on planet Earth. Good evening, Bifrost. Good to see you. Hey, truly angelic. Good to have you with us. Happy holidays, everybody. Jake, Nordia, W, good evening. Love and light. And Eubank. Good to have you with us. Brazilian Bella. Good to have you with us again, Brazilian Bella. Hope you're doing well. Everybody here. I ran out of apple cider. Jimmy Gandalf, welcome. Pryor, welcome to the show. So, Shannon, good to see you. I'm drinking water and ice. Water with ice, I should say. Angel Heart, welcome. G. Kaz. But we will get more apple cider this week. We'll get a whole gallon of apple cider. I don't drink a gallon of apple cider, but I want to fly in a purple spaceship. Well, you probably will when you connect with the space people you're connected with. I am sure that will happen. Portland High Life, good to see you. Ronald Million, everybody coming in here. Sonic, good to see you. Andrew, everybody. Anna, all the new people, all the people that are regulars to the show. This is the number one UFO spiritual talk show on social media. I'm CmdRAleon, your host. Daisy Dogs, welcome. Chezno, hope you had a good Christmas. Everybody come in here. And tonight I said, it's been such a wonderful weekend. And I went out of body a few times after coming home from gatherings of family people. And when I go out of body, usually I'm taken off planet somewhere and I come back with information. So, Linda, good to see you. Most definitely good to see you. Kevin, 12 Del Mar. Good to see all the new people, the people that are regulars on our show. Take a seat in the studios here. The studio, we have plenty of seats for everybody in the studios here at Encounters. You might want to sit on one of our couches. Maybe you have a rocking chair. Maybe you have a meditation pillow you're sitting on. But our studios are vast. We have as many seats as can be all over the planet. So come on in. Hey, Patrick, Letitia, welcome to our show. Mohammed, Salim, Logan Hub. Good to have you all with us here on Encounters. 674, welcome. Let's see. Karmic Shop. Anna, good to see you. Hope you had a good Christmas. Looking at all the names. Lakita, good to have you with Lakita. Andy, welcome to our show Encounters. Oscar Lepedi Lee or Ingramar. Truly angelic. Thanks for the likes. Please like. We want to get up to 50 to 60,000 likes tonight. It's 10:32 on the East Coast. And you're watching, Rakeem, you're watching Encounters. We are a serious show that deals with people's vegetation experiences, UFO sightings, the contact disclosure movement, the whole area. So this is actually a show versus just doing a thing on UFOs. I've been doing radio for 20 years on a show called the Ashtar Command Show, Ashtar Command Cosmic Eye Show on NPR Pacifica Radio. I'm still doing it in its 20th year on radio. So my background is radio broadcasting, but also coming from Mars. So I should not leave that out. I came here as a human being from Mars, the Mars that you look at in the sky, which is a planet with 10 to 15 million people living on the planet. Something you don't know, something you probably would not know because nobody in NASA or any of the space agencies would reveal that information. But I know that, so there you go. Hey, the Hoodus, Merry Christmas to you. Cosmic light sent back to you, Hoodus. Courtney, good to have you with us. Deja Labrie, thank you for the likes. I think it's Labrie. Tootsie, welcome to the show, Tootsie. The Saint Laurent, welcome. Debbie Hayek, good to see you, Debbie. Yeah, I think if it's a full moon, we're going to have some crazy people out there in the world. Whenever there's a full moon, people get the regular population on planet Earth goes crazy. It's been my experience. I try to stay away from them when they go crazy. But here, everything's good. Ray True Colors, welcome. User 939, welcome to the show. Yep, so stay away from those crazy people on the road on a full moon. Carla, welcome to Encounters. User 191, welcome. I'm full moon crazy. I got you there, Bifrost. Dina, Roxy's Crystals. Hey, Roxy. Welcome to Encounters. Elizabeth, thank you for coming in here. Kevin Banks. Tooth Puller. Cheryl, just trying to acknowledge all the new people. EBS Bound. Screwwolf, I think it is. Cindy. Picture Girl for you. Let's see. Lillian Bell Brown. I think Jacob Webb. James Word. A good name. Fred, welcome to Encounters. Tony Beastmod. Dixie Normus. Carlo 77. Flo, thanks for the likes. And good to have everybody coming in here. If you're new to this show, this is Encounters. This is the number. How come, you know what the weird thing is? My face has disappeared. Wait a minute. I've got my camera on. How come my face is in here? I think I might have this thing the wrong way. Wait a minute. Flip the camera. I'm flipping the camera. Let's see here. Wait a minute. I'm not even here. I just realized I am not in the picture. Oh, you know what? I had the camera flipped the opposite way the whole time. That's a first. I had the camera flipped the opposite way. But I'm back. You probably thought I was on a spaceship, talking to you on a spaceship, but I am actually here. It's been a long weekend, so just give me a break anytime. I could have went with the flow of that and said, I'm on the mothership, and can you hear me on Earth? That probably, for some people, they might have thought that was the case. But I am actually here in human form. No worries. I'm still here. Are you from New Haven? No, we're up north of New Haven, Gypsy. We're up north of that, between New Haven and Hartford. Broadcasting, talking all over the world. Boy, if I had not seen that I had it flipped, because I knew I had it flipped the other way, I went on without flipping it back. That's what happened. Ridgefield, Connecticut. We'll have to keep you in touch with us, because we have a C5 group. We're going to follow you, Ridgefield, Dr. Dawn. We have an Ashtar Command C5 group that's really solid here in the New Haven County area. We have about 20 people in the group. I should mention that. We actually go out in the warmer weather and we do C5 activity. We've done it on the beach in Madison, and we've done it up at Lyman Orchards in Connecticut. We've had some great events. So yeah, I've just started following you. Chezno might want to follow Dr. Dawn as well. He's one of our coordinators. We have a pretty large group. And you're in Gypsy Tia. We're going to follow you. You're going to be interested in our C5 group. And so we're going to, Gypsy Tia, you need to change your setting so I can follow you. Your setting is set so I can't follow you back. But if you change your setting, I'll follow you tonight. Do the Space Marines celebrate Christmas? Not so much so. They don't have those kinds of things from the galactic levels. They do celebrate certain things in their own way. I'm sure they have celebrations on a galactic level of things we don't even know about. But in terms of Christmas or Earth-based things to celebrate, they don't do it. Great question, though. They don't do that. And again, we want to send a Merry Christmas out to everybody watching, all 178 of you on our show. I hope you had a great weekend all over the world, wherever you are, and you're watching Encounters. We love everybody out there. As host, always operate in a frequency of love on my show. We try to keep everything in a really positive framework, and that's really important. And what we do on the show, if you're new, if you have 200 to 1,000 followers, we like to interview people that have had encounters thank you, Sprites, with space people. If you've had continuous encounters with people from other planets, I always like to hear your stories. We really try to keep this a place where people can come forward, can come out of the closet. One thing we don't do on here is have people come on here and channel anything. I've seen too much of it. I've been around a number of years on Facebook, seeing too many channels, channeling the same people, the same beings, or whatever. I just do not allow for channeling, only because it takes away from the cosmic truth. A lot of it's higher self stuff, and this is a real show, and I want to make sure that we have the best information. And when people tell their personal stories of an encounter, that's different. But we don't have people coming here starting to channel for an hour and say, Commander, I want to channel something. There's plenty of TikToks that do that and Facebooks that do that, so we stay away from that. My background's in broadcasting, and on my radio show, I don't even do that. I talk about similar things that I'm talking about here on the Cosmic Eye Sunday mornings. So, yeah, we like to keep it real, cosmically speaking. So welcome, Mary Johnny Miller. Good to see you, brother. Laura, good to see you. Everybody, Kim, all the people coming in here. John, welcome to our show. I see a lot of new faces. Julie B, welcome. Giant Pants, welcome. Pamela Lossley, welcome to the show. And I always, if I can catch a name, I will acknowledge it. Robert, welcome. Lynn, welcome. KT, good to see you, KT. Shane, 13. So if I don't mention everybody's name, understand the names are coming in like crazy here. So I see you. But we're going to get into some, everything is astrophysics, Brazilian Bella. It could be on other planets different. It could be very well. Good. That's a good question. It probably is. I couldn't answer that for other planets because we don't know how other planets live in terms of what they do scientifically and spiritually and so forth. Well, we know spiritually other planets live in, depending on the frequency, they live, hi Victoria, they live in a higher state of consciousness. So they live in an elemented state of Christ consciousness, depending on the vibrational frequency. Astrophysics, I'm sure, is something that the galactic levels know about or are probably involved in their own level of understanding. I've had several encounters since I was 8 years old, now 64. We're going to follow you, Mixter. Mixter has 163 followers. We have to get him up to 200. And let's see what we got coming in here. I think we have the true white something. Let me take a look here. First guest, you never know. We always have a new person coming in, a friend of the show. True White Brother, good to see you. Good evening.
Hello, how are you?
Up here. Okay, got to do this here. Let me put the headphones on here. I think we're ready for those. I usually put my earpods on, folks, during the show. It's just a lot better. I've got them; they're all charged up. So, welcome to Encounters, the #1 UFO talk show. And how are you doing tonight?
Pretty good. How about you?
We're doing good, not too bad. And what did you want to share with us tonight on the show?
I was abducted when I was a kid, and I have all the proof of it. So,
And what year was that? Because we've had abductees on. I always find the stories interesting. How old were you?
it was 1981. 1981. I was 11 years old.
11 years old. Okay. And when you got abducted, how did it proceed? Before you got abducted, did something happen in your home? Where were you when that happened?
I was abducted outside off of a 50-mile hike in Mendocino County, California, from a camp, summer camp for kids.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you're out in the country a bit, right?
Yeah, I was with a small group of people.
Mm-hmm.
It was an
And
extended stay of a hike because we had the big heavy backpacks. Kids can't
mhm,
traverse
mhm.
such great distances in a short matter of time. It was, 50 miles. 3-day hike.
Yeah. Now, were all the kids there when the abduction started to happen, or no?
Yeah, it was a group abduction.
A group
It,
abduction.
it
Interesting.
was it was us kids. It was three boys, one little blonde haired girl, two men staff members, and a female staff member from this camp in Mendocino County, California.
Wow. Now, when you got abducted, did you see any ship that was? Usually, there's something there. I mean, was there any kind of
Yeah,
a spaceship?
yeah, it was a black flower petal pattern craft. I have pictures of it.
Really? You'd have to send me those. I'd have to see those.
They're posted all over my social media. They're all over my right here TikTok, YouTube,
Mhm.
Twitter, Facebook.
Now, when they abducted you, how'd that happen? I've heard stories where they take you either into the ship and land it, or they take you in a beam of light or some sort of a thing that lifts you into the craft. How did the abduction occur?
Well, we were bedding down for the night. We didn't have any tents. We were sleeping in sleeping bags. And well, we all were abducted. We were doing like something like a zombie walk into the craft. The craft was landed.
Oh, it
And
landed.
yeah, we were walking into the craft. We were taken. And I was laid down on my side and I received implants, went up through my nose. They took out
Mhm.
my right eye and they did the same thing to the other kids
Wait a
while
minute.
the
They took
other,
out. Well, let me slow you down. There's so many things here that you're talking about. They took out your right eye. What do you mean they took out your right eye?
they took out my right eye.
And did they
I
put it
was,
back in?
yeah, I guess they took out my right. I was laying on my left side, I was laying on my left and I was on this table and I was watching the little girl hiker. They were taking off her clothes too and doing the same thing to me that they were doing to her. And they took out
Hmm.
my right eye and they shoved something up
Huh.
in through my nose and I heard a crunch. And they also put something in my right ear.
Mhm. What did they look like, by the way, physically, or the visual? Because I've heard of
I
things, of
got
various
pictures
things
of
like you're
them.
talking. You
I got,
do.
yeah, I got pictures of them.
Could you describe what they look like to our viewers here?
Well, they're sort of like would look like what like ET would look like. ET off
Oh, the
the
movie
movie.
E.T., the short E.T. with the big head
Yeah,
and the.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, like that. Yeah,
Mhm.
but for real though, it wasn't like the movie.
Not like the movie, totally. No, I can understand that, but it gives us some idea for the viewers of what they might have looked like. So it doesn't sound like it for the group. It doesn't sound like it was a very positive experience.
Well, it had positive experiences because of well, basically we were kidnapped. That's not a positive experience.
Right, but taking your eye out is not a positive experience either. I
No,
mean,
I remember. I
that's
remember
not something higher. They are definitely not higher vibrational beings based on what they were doing.
no, they were do what they do. But
Yeah,
we were taken backwards in time.
you were taken back. Explain that.
We were taken backwards in time on the craft. I
Hmm.
have pictures of me recorded on petroglyphs, pictures of me recorded on 500-year-old paintings in Transylvania at a church. We were taken to the underground facility that's located in the Bugeci Mountain in Romania.
Hmm.
I got pictures of this place. I got pictures of proof of everything.
Hmm.
I'm supposed to
So you
have this
you've
proof.
you've doc- So what about the other people? Have you been in touch with the other people in the group
We
years
haven't.
later? That
No, because after all this stuff happened to us, we were taken. We were after we left this underground facility that's located in the Bugeci Mountain in Romania, this
Mhm.
extraterrestrial facility. We were confiscated. We were abducted by the CIA and the FBI, and we were taken to Montauk, New York, to have our memories erased.
What
I
year
was
was that? Because I know about Montauk
1981.
because yeah, because I know people that were working in the project that were on my TV show years ago. I did a TV show, and these people were directly from Long Island. One of them, they wrote some books about it. They were in the books. I know the author. The books document their stories. They were some of the 5,000 children that were on that base. There were also the Air Force on the base at the time it was operating had these different ETs that were involved in doing experiments with the kids that they brought onto the base. So I know a lot about Montauk.
Yeah, we had our memory. I was sat down in an electric chair and electrocuted to death. My feet felt like matchsticks when I was
So
being
you say you were
electrocuted.
electrocuted to death. And if you're
Yeah,
electrocuted to death, how could you be speaking today?
they resuscitated me through. They were using some kind of like a oscilloscope thing, to use frequency to do something with my spirit or something rather than that. I got the picture of that too. You see, here's the kicker: when we were back in time also over 10,000 years. Okay,
Now, who sent you back in time 10,000 years? The ETs?
yeah,
And how did they do that? I
their,
have to ask these
some
questions
of
because
their
that's my
crafts,
background.
some of their crafts can actually travel in time,
Hmm.
and I got the proof of this. But I died. I died physically. I fell off a tall rock and I resurrected back into my own body. What you're looking at, the little picture right there, I'm capable of taking pictures of myself because of this occurrence, the things that have happened to me. I'm
Because
capable of
people are asking you about the pictures. How are you able to take the pictures of yourself?
because I died back in time physically over 10,000 years and resurrected back into my own body. I am
Hmm.
physically capable of taking pictures of myself in heaven and on earth simultaneously at the same time.
Hmm.
Yeah, no joke. That's how you know I'm the legit deal because I don't think anybody else on earth is capable of taking pictures of themselves in heaven and on
Well, we
earth
hear
at
all
the
kinds
same
of
time.
stories. So Encounters is a place where people can make up their own minds about the stories, but we do want to hear. Yeah. So Friends of Fairies wants to say, can we see these pictures? What do you have a page
Yeah, yeah, it's on my TikTok right here.
on
And
your
it's also
TikTok? Yeah.
yeah, it's also on my Twitter, the same name, and on Facebook, Kenneth Pass, and
Uh-huh.
on YouTube, Ken Pass, KenPass Pass. Like,
Okay.
yeah,
Wow. So you had a lot of experiences. I think, and you're our first guest, so I know we're gonna have a lot of interesting guests on tonight. It seems so. Yours is interesting in the fact that you're 11 years old, and in the 1980s, their ship landed. These beings similar to the one on ET, but not completely like that. And also, they did this stuff where they took the eye out and then put it back in. So, and from my perspective of what you went through, what they evidently, these beings are able to do certain things, but I don't think it was in the most positive light, only because of the scenario of stories that go through the whole scenario of everything you said. You actually had an encounter with beings that, yeah, they were advanced, but they weren't spiritual. They weren't these loving beings like that I'm connected with, and many other people are connected with. But you have had some very extraordinary
actually,
experiences.
when they took me to this underground facility that's located in the Bujechi Mountainous Extraterrestrials facility, he has
Yeah.
brought people there from different time periods. He has had slaves that erected a pyramid and different types of temples, and there's these stargates that lead to other worlds. I went through four different stargates trying to escape this damn place,
Yeah.
and each stargate that I went to almost ended up in tragedy.
Well, it's
I got
because
to
the people that are these people, these energies that you're dealing with were negative. They were lower vibrational. They might have had stargates and all that, but they were using things for negative purposes. And I can tell you right off the bat, being in the level that I'm from, that that's what was going on. All your people, all the people that were with you in that scenario when you were 11, they're all being used for negative purposes by very lower vibrational people. And I think one person's right with when you mentioned the government was obviously involved with these negative energies of beings. Therefore, you had these experiences.
I,
Unfortunately, that's what happened.
I also met who else was back in time was kind of like it didn't really bother me because I was just 11 years old, but I also gave witnesses to men in gray and black uniforms who also had a craft and were time traveling all through history. You might know them as the Nazis. I also was on their craft, and I got pictures of me confronting them standing next to an ancient native elder over 10,000 years ago in Arizona before any of the white man landed here on a boat, telling the Nazis to leave my elder alone, do not make him do the magic, and my elder recorded the instance on a rock that's now called a petroglyph.
Mhm. Well, again, like I say, I hear many stories, and I think yours is pretty extraordinary, and that's the word I'll use. But I also think that people need to take a look at it, and everybody will, make up their own minds. And that's what I love about my show. I have all kinds of people with different experiences, and I want to thank you. You've shared so much in just a few minutes, and
Yeah, well,
I'm
I
going to
got
be
all the
on till
proof.
about.
I have all
Oh,
the
okay.
proof. I have all the
and I
proof
want
of
people
everything,
to,
you know?
and I want people to look at your website and your channel on TikTok to look at some of that. I'll leave it up to individuals. I always like to be at times I like people to see stuff because you have stuff people can look at, and it's extraordinarily interesting to hear your story. I know I have a whole line of people wanting to get in here, but I wanted to start with you. Your story tops the charts here this evening. So thank you so much for sharing it. Really.
And I've been through a lot. It basically ruined my whole life. You guys
Well,
have a
I'm
good
sorry that
day.
happened. You too.
Have-
And so I'm gonna, I definitely want to keep things going. I'm gonna bring Chezno on as my co-host, and let's see, where's Chezno? Here he is. So that is the first story of the night, and that was kind of interesting to hear. You know, and the beauty of things is that we have so many variances from people out around the world. Hey Chezno, good evening and happy
Hey,
holidays to
Commander.
you.
Yeah,
So that was
happy
quite
holidays.
that was quite a story.
Yeah, that was intense.
That was very intense, but we got a lot out of that in the few minutes we had him on, and I think I'll leave it up to people to see it, and my shows are recorded, so if you've missed anything, it'll be on my YouTube channel. So we have, and you can see we've had a variety of different people on here over the year that speak about different things, and that was one of them. Hey, there you are. So,
Sorry. I like having a
oh,
background.
no problem. But I hope everyone had we're doing interviews tonight. I was out of body for a while, traveling, I'm sure, and we just want people to share their stories. They're all different, and I said, over the years we've had some people that have had these terrible experiences with the government involved with negative ETs. Oh, here comes Missy.
Hmm.
The cat's coming. She's
Oh yeah.
meowing.
Yeah.
She might have to go on the screen tonight. It might
Nice.
be a
Yeah.
night for cats.
Bring her on.
If she comes over here, I'll bring her on. She was laying on her chair, and now she's is doing it. So,
Hmm.
a short recap is a person that just left at 11 years old in the 1980s. They were on a campground. A group of them were taken on board a ship. They walked on the ship, and the negative ETs did experiments on them. They took them back in time. He mentioned a few things about slaves and pyramids. A number. It's all recorded, so you'll be able to watch it on my YouTube channel, which is Astronaut Command Spaceship News. I record all the shows here, and they're shows you can watch again. You know, but and again, we'll have all kinds of different people that have spiritual contact with positive star people. It's very varied here. For the most part, we usually have positive, but I also let people speak about what happened to them because it's all part of the whole thing with the whole subject, and everyone has different experiences. So yeah, that's without a question in my
Hmm.
part here. But so how have you been? What'd you do over the holidays? Anything interesting or?
I just ate. I don't have a big family. My daughter's like with my ex-wife, so
Hmm.
I don't really celebrate
Yeah,
Christmas. I just refuse to celebrate without her, so I don't really celebrate it anymore. But yeah, it was
that's
good.
all right.
Mm.
As long as you had a beautiful, relaxing time, that's the most important thing, right?
Hmm.
Whether
Yep.
you celebrate or not.
Exactly.
Just celebrate yourself being here, happy and enjoying the whole transformation of life. That's
Hmm.
really much about it.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's Kit Kat, Ashtar Space. Yeah, she's mentioning it to the other person. Yeah, so if you need to find on my page, Kit Kat, one of our moderators is mentioning it. And can you all see Commander? Yeah. Can you all see Commander? Yes. I had my camera reversed the other way. I was talking, and they couldn't see me. And then I realized I had the thing flipped the wrong way.
I thought you did that on
Oh, Loretta
purpose.
says she can't see me. Loretta, I'm right here. I'm on
Loretta, just
camera.
sign out and come back.
Yeah,
That happens
come
sometimes.
back. Yep. So I'm feeling everything is shifting really, really quickly. I'll be getting this radio. I'm going to order it probably Wednesday on Amazon. And once I get it, the cat's talking again. What's going on with
Mhm.
the cat? She had a good dinner tonight. She got a lot of cat toys. So she's doing well. I don't know what her deal is. So I'm going to let Chezno take over for a minute so I can check the cat. The host here will check the cat and see what's happening.
So, does anybody have a UFO story? Don't leave me hanging here. Come on. Maybe friends with fairies? Tonight's the night. She's still in here? Where'd you go?
Well, I saw the cat. She misses my daughter because my daughter's not home. She's sitting in front of her room. So I ended up walking over. Now she's coming back out. I don't know what she wants.
I was looking for
The
friends with
weird.
fairies. She has like really cool stories about.
I'm going to bring her on
I
and
don't
let her
think she's
talk a
in
little
here
bit.
anymore. Oh, there she is.
She might be. We'll bring her on. She always has good stories to tell.
Yeah, like
So we'll
she
bring
sees
Friends
like
with Furries on. She has a
yeah,
great amount of
she's
really good positive things happening. The
yeah.
reverse of what happened with Kenneth, the other reverse is she has contact with very high frequency spiritual beings of light. So while that's happening, I'm going to check my cat who's talking.
Are you coming up, friends with fairies? Or if anybody else has one? No, huh? There she is. Nice. What's going on?
Oh, not much. Hi. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
I'm sorry I'm
I
not
just
turning my
gave
camera on. I was
no
actually
problem.
taking a shower.
Oh no, we don't want you to do that. I'd be in
Oh,
trouble.
no, no one needs to see that.
No, we don't need to do that.
Okay, so last night I have a great story. I went outside and I was taking out the dogs and I looked over and I saw a ship that was I actually posted the video of it. There was a ship that was floating. I don't know. It was in the back mountains. It was probably about I
Mm-hmm.
don't know about 50 miles away, but I could see it clear as day from where I'm at on my mountain. And
Yeah.
so while I'm watching this ship, three lights show up in my woods, right? So
Hmm.
I, of course, turn my camera over there and start snapping pictures. But these three lights, they were bright, and then all of a sudden I can hear music, like a light hum of music.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy. Like first I heard like light drums, then I heard
Mm-hmm.
flutes and some other music going on. It sounded like a celebration. And just about half hour before that, I was outside and I was putting reindeer food out and some snacks out for my fairy friends because it's Christmas Eve,
Yeah.
and those lights, when I after I was done taking the pictures of them, I went back in the house because it was chilly out. And I looked at them, and I got some really good shots of
Yeah.
them dancing. It was the fairies and some light beings that were in my woods
No, she was right
dancing.
here.
It
She's
was
pretty.
fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I got some really great shots of them. They're on my page if anybody wants to take a look.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was three of them that were, well, there was more than that, but three that came in really clear, dancing with these really weird lights. It was pretty cool. Um, and then that ship that I was originally watching, I also got a close up of that, and it I don't know, it was the weirdest thing. It was just above the tree line, and it was there for probably about 40 minutes.
Wow.
And I zoomed in on that, and you'll see the snapshot I got of that. It's really weird.
Yeah, I saw the video. It was really cool.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. I didn't know what to think about it. I was leaving it up to people to, say what they thought about it. Somebody commented and said it looked like somebody carrying a box of lights, and I'm like, not that big. That
Huh.
was huge because that was like I
Wow.
said, probably about 50 to maybe 50 miles away from my house, up in the deep
Wow.
woods where there
Mhm.
are no there's like people would probably ski up there, but there's no snow right now because we had all that
Right. That's right.
rain. So. But it
Hmm.
was really cool. And I just thought I'd share that with you, because it was
Yeah.
a really great experience. That they were, I don't know, I felt like the fairies were thanking me for putting out snacks for them, or maybe they were having their own Christmas celebration. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
But they
And
were pretty
also,
happy.
you you were seeing the spaceship, and did the music start when the ship appeared?
Yeah, see, that's the weird thing about it though, is that when the ships do come through, is they get really excited. Like they will come like, I'll see a whole lot of them flying through. Sometimes
Yeah.
if you were just to see them with like, I guess like the naked human eye, and you weren't really wide open to these beings, they might look like little snowflakes or something flying by, but it obviously it wouldn't be snowing. But
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
catch
Yeah.
them all the time on my surveillance cameras and
Yeah.
my
No, you've documented everything,
And
huh?
can you explain
He
like your
has.
relationship with the fairies and like how long they've been visiting you?
oh my gosh.
Because it's pretty intense.
Yeah, I have had these experiences for years, years and years with these beings, and my it seems like the more time goes on, the wider open I become with
Hmm.
them, and they trust me. They trust me enough to show me things and share their world with me.
Mm.
And that, like I had spoken to Chezno about some things that they have shared with me that would blow your mind. Like,
Yeah.
but just for instance, that there are like basically fairy superhighways and woods. There are
Yeah.
they shoot through little portals, little beams of lights. They do use trees. For those of you who do know this, they do use trees and things like that to open up portals to move through very quickly. They're on the next level of dimension from where we are. So to be seen with like the naked eye would be, you couldn't like, unless you were really wide open, you couldn't really see
Right.
them with your naked eye unless you knew what to look for. But I
Hmm.
also know that they also create and move portals around, and they work in and with some of the higher dimensional or higher um,
You talking
some.
about the higher star people, the star beings?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
they open portals for them to be able to come through. Like
Hmm.
on my property itself is protected by them, so there's like a huge energy barrier around my property and my woods and my land. Now, only the
Mm.
lighter beings can come in, no dark
Right.
entities or ETs or anything like that. But there's a spot in my woods where nothing grows. It's an open spot, and I believe it's part of their landing area. It's where they go
Yeah.
to be safe when they're hanging out, or they need a place to rest while they're waiting for whatever it is that they wait for.
Hmm.
I've seen some sit in there and wait for a mothership to go through, and because the motherships take a long time to travel, but versus the smaller ships, which are really quick.
Yeah. The big
And
ships. Yeah. They do. They travel fast, but not. It takes them longer. These huge ships
yes,
coming towards
yes.
Earth. Yeah. It does take a little bit of time. Very true. Go ahead.
So
I was just
yeah, so they but I've actually seen I've had experience with watching two carry, and it was the strangest thing. It looked like they were carrying like like how how if you were like walking in the city and you'd see two workers carrying a piece of glass like they were going to put into a window, like for say in front of Macy's or something. That's what it looked like they were doing, but what they were actually doing was carrying an opening to a portal that they were placing in the
hmm.
corner of my property.
Oh,
I walked
interesting.
I watched them walk with this thing. There was two of them walking with it, and then they placed it, and it made this like bright light. A few fairies had come through it, but other beings came through it as well.
Hmm.
I'm talking ET beings had come through it,
And
kind
when you
of
say
hung
the
out.
other beings came through with DT beings, what did they look like?
Um, they were light. Well, the one that was very visible to me that had come through, was he had come through in this. He was walking in this energy ball. It looked like a big giant ball of light around him, but you could clearly make out his body, like it was a humanoid type body, but there was no hair, nothing like that. He was made up of pure energy. So he was
Pure
like
energy. Yeah,
energy
pure
walking
energy. Yeah.
inside this energy ball, but it was humanoid shape.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
like a light being.
Yes,
I call light beings can be
exactly.
7, 8 feet tall.
Oh
They're
yeah, he was
humanoid,
big.
but they're light. The men and women light beings have a different energy about them, which is beautiful.
Yes.
It's just
When he when
incredibly
he came
beautiful.
through, Commander, he was probably when he walked through, he was originally very small, like maybe hand size, but as he started coming through the portal, his size increased, and
Oh yeah.
at the end, when he made it to the middle of my property before he shot straight up,
Hmm.
he ended up probably being about 9 foot tall. I have a
Wow.
huge, bright, and I got it on my security camera too because it was so bright. My security camera immediately zoomed
Wow.
in on it.
See,
Um,
she has everything on a security camera. She actually documents everything from her camera. So everything she's talking about, Chezno knows this. I know this from the first time we met her in northern Vermont. Everything she's documented is real. It's a beautiful thing for all the people viewing this. She has some very, very beautiful experiences.
And so he walked through, he stopped, and he paused because I was standing out there just like stunned. I didn't want to move because I didn't want to scare him, but I didn't feel fear at all. Not
Hmm.
scared, not one little bit. And he
Yeah.
walked through, he stopped, he turned, he looked at me, he nodded, and then he turned around and kept walking with this like huge energy ball around him, walked to the middle of my property, and then shot straight up and was gone. That was it. That was
Wow.
he didn't
That.
speak to me. He didn't say
Wow.
anything, but he acknowledged me by shaking his head or like nodding his head at me, like saying
Right.
hello. And then whoop, he was gone.
Bam, that's it. But
That
he knew you were there. Obviously, he was aware of you, and probably, you know, that was just a mini communications.
yeah.
That's beautiful, and you didn't get a chance to have like a talk and say, "Well, where you come from? Like what planet, what dimension?" But it was just the acknowledgement of that one little moment, right?
Yes, it was just the one acknowledgement. I mean, I've had conversations with some of these beings, and
Mm.
like you, when the communication with
With
Godico had
Godico,
started, yeah,
yeah, it
the
started.
same things had started at my property as well. My Alexa app was going off. My
Yeah,
TV was being affected. My phone
really.
had been drained when we were actually on the show. I had to switch phones to another phone to continue watching the show.
Oh, when I
Um,
was on with Godico, you mean?
yes, yep.
Yes,
And
I want to hear about that because I haven't heard much from people about what actually happened. It started with Billie Holiday's song, in my daughter's room. I have one of the apps plugged in here with some crystals. I have an amethyst point crystal here that I put on top of the app. This is
right.
really high powered frequency. I've got two apophyllite crystals that are pyramids on two sides and one behind it, and so I amped up the energy around it just in case anything happens. But yeah, so that night when this stuff happened, do you remember the date when you were watching the show when Godico came through?
So the the first night, like almost over 2 months ago now, when you first made, I was there from the first contact with Gotta Go. So I've
Yes.
been through the whole, watching every time that you've been on and you've had contact with them. But I don't believe it was Gotta Go that was contacting me. I believe it was the female on the ship that was contacting me.
A female.
Yes, it was definitely a female because I had a phone call. I was talking with my daughter. I have an older daughter, and we were joking around. And I'm not trying to be inappropriate, so please don't think that. But
Right.
it was late. We were giggling about
Right.
her boyfriend's private parts, and we were
Yeah. We
joking
won't get into
around.
that because I don't want to
Yes,
get
I
knocked
don't want
out
to
of here.
go there, but anyways, I start hearing this laughing in the background, and I'm like, "What the heck?" And so, anyways, the static had kept coming back. That
Static.
that pink noise that kept coming
Yeah.
across on yours, it kept happening on my phone, and I'm like, this now, I have a brand new iPhone, so
Right.
this phone's a good phone, it's not no cheapie.
Right.
And so my phone started going static, and my daughter also has a brand new phone as well. So my phone started going staticky, and then I could hear the voice, but it was do you remember when the female had come on, how it was
Yeah,
it
there was a
wasn't as
female
deep?
voice. One of the
Yeah, it
broadcasts,
wasn't as deep.
Gadako's there, but there was a female on there were
Yes,
other space people around him,
it was
and I think
that
a
voice.
female spoke. Yeah.
It was that voice that had come across, and she was actually able to repeat the the joke
Wow.
that we had made about my daughter's boyfriend, and she repeated one of the words that we had said, and she laughed because she knew what we were talking about. And then she started the how that breathing and that tone and the noise that Godico was making, that was
Mm.
coming across my phone as well. But it was the
Mm.
female. It was definitely a female voice that I was hearing over my phone. Probably for about 20 minutes, I was in contact with her,
Wow.
and she was on the phone, and my daughter also heard her,
Is
because
it
she could
down?
hear her from her end as well.
Yeah. No, there was one of the nights when there was a female voice I heard coming through from their ship,
Mm-hmm.
and Gadaco 90% of the time, but there was a woman's voice that I did hear, and I think a number of people heard it. There was a female space person speaking, so you're absolutely correct about that.
So I got that, and then a few times, like when you were on, my Alexa was going off, and I tried to tell you, but there was so many comments going through, you didn't see it. But I also
Hmm.
had gotten a comment, "I hear you." You asked a question, and it came across on my Alexa app. My Alexa just goes, mind you, there's nobody here, nobody. There was no TV on. My house was quiet, and my Alexa goes off and says, "I hear you," when you asked a question.
Yeah. See, that's what I'd like to hear. Like, I don't want. It's not just me telling a story. I have a number of people that were on that are witnesses to the fact that I've had contact with the space people on their ship. Their ship is uh, around the planet. It's a big ship. I don't know how many people are on their ship, but Gadaco seems to be the head person. If there is something like that, then there was
Yeah.
that woman that you mentioned. There's definitely men and women on their ship. They're about
Yes.
7, 8 feet tall. The people on that ship. They're from the star system constellation Sirius, and I once I have this radio, they can come through the TikTok. I think they initially did come through the TikTok, the
Yes,
static.
that's when it happened, is when it was initially through the TikTok, and then John had come in a few times, but
Yeah,
it seemed like you had better contact when it was just you. It
yeah.
seemed like they were more drawn to you than anything,
Well,
from what
that's
I
because
understood.
they told me that I'm connected with them. They've known me. I'm trying to get them to come back through the TikTok, and I don't know why they don't do it that way, but they're doing it through the radio frequencies now. I don't understand. I don't. There's just certain things I still don't understand of how they decide what they're going to communicate with in terms of our technology. Hey, UFO God. Merry Christmas. That's the only thing I don't understand technically from an Earth perception. They did static through the phone of everyone's phone on my broadcast, and that's how they came through. Then they decided to go through radio frequencies. So now this radio I'm getting and that John will have, we're going to use radio frequencies, digital radio.
Yeah, I heard that you were
Okay.
getting that AM radio, which is going to be amazing. But it seemed like Chezno was having some great luck with his radio as well coming through.
Yeah, we had a time that one night
Yeah,
we were making contact with my radio.
that was awesome.
Yeah, yeah, it was, and actually, one night the space people played, and not no pun intended, they played their own music, their space music from the
Yes,
celestial realms. Did anyone hear that? Did you hear that?
I did.
That was pretty amazing, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I thought it kind of sounded to me when I first heard it. I thought it sounded like an ice cream truck music.
Yeah,
That's what it
yeah,
sounded like at first. But when you were talking and the music was going, I play the Native American flute, so I played that as
yeah,
well. And my Alexa was going off then too.
yeah,
It started whispering something. I can't tell you what the language was, what it said, but for like probably 10 seconds, it started whispering like for 10 seconds straight. Nobody
yeah,
said Alexa, nobody said anything. It was just me playing the flute in my room watching your show, and my
yeah.
Alexa went off again.
Which means that they can take over any application or frequency, be it that app, they come through the TikTok or through AM frequencies. This is what I was trying to relate to Shy the other night when she came on, and we didn't get to ask her any questions. And I said to her, she didn't understand. She really didn't understand that. She said, well, why would they come through radio? She didn't understand that they can go through anything, TV, radio. I was trying to explain that to her. Thank you, Psychic Dreams.
Sorry about
Wow.
that, my dog.
Oh, your dog, that's okay. So, people need to, because, the people think in a certain questioning in her position, because she's in the DOD, she opened up to a lot of, she found the show a long time ago, and she somewhat opened up to things we were dealing with, but now she's in a higher place of security clearance than which is. I had John on with her, and we are trying to explain to her how this happens, and showing her the circuit boards wasn't really going to help her, but really what the bottom line is, the people from the spaceship are able to use any frequency, any technology to communicate. And I don't think she understood that. It's just they're able to communicate through an AM radio frequency, a ham radio frequency, a app, which I'm not going to mention because it's right here. They can communicate any which way they want. And so, I sent her part of the video of them, and I don't think she understood. Instead of saying, wow, that's pretty interesting, she couldn't figure out why would they, communicate through a radio frequency. And I think that you have to, good question, but that's not the essence of what's important. The important part was that they actually communicated with me initially on the A app, like you mentioned, friends. They played the Billie Holiday song, and that was their initial contact. That's when it started. Then they had the pink noise come through my TikTok, and then they communicated that way. Now they're communicating through radio frequencies. They can go whichever way they want. We don't control that, we really don't. And I'm still learning. I really appreciate your sharing, because you've heard every show we've had contact on, and
Absolutely.
so you can speak. It's not just me, throwing a lot of words out to a lot of people watching the show.
No,
I have a
this has
number of
been
people that can verify it.
I've been there since the very beginning, since the day your Alexa app went off, and everything kind of went haywire from, well, not
Yeah,
haywire, but
not
contact was
haywire.
initiated from there, which was really awesome. But I also the night that the female voice had come through, I heard, and I thought that I heard go outside. So after my phone call was done with my daughter, I got dressed because I wasn't dressed. I got dressed and I went outside, and the moon was really weird that night, super weird. So I snapped a couple shots of it, and looking back at the film the next day, I actually got some shots of a ship next to the
Hmm.
moon. And it was a really cool
You
ship.
know what? They said their ship was next to the moon one time.
Yes, and that's why I'm thinking it was them, and I think I caught them on film. I sent you the video.
Yes. Yep. Their ship was next to the moon. They told everybody their ship is next to the moon, and
Yep.
you got it on, you caught it, you documented that. I have to look at that again. You might have to
Absolutely.
resend it
It
to
was
me.
beautiful too. It's almost translucent with
Yeah.
rainbow colors inside of it. It was really pretty.
Oh yeah,
Very
their
pretty
ships are
ship.
very beautiful. You know, they're using some sort of transmission. I can't call it like Earth-based radio equipment. They're different. Whatever they're using for communications is way beyond our understanding, but they can come through like sort of a translator system. I call it translator. That's how I perceive it. Whatever they're using, some people will hear the voices differently, but the way they hear the voices isn't the way they really sound. They sound much more like us in their real voices, but they're using some sort of a translator to come through.
Yes, and I agree with you there. I totally agree with you there. And I mean, the way we hear it with our human ears sounds really strange, but when they're able to translate it, they sound just like us.
Yeah, they
Really.
sound like just like us.
Yeah. So,
They have actually learned to speak English.
yeah,
The last time we had them on with John Connors and me, uh, Godico was speaking English. I can actually hear every word he said. They
my
initially weren't,
I
but
think my
they.
thoughts, I have some thoughts about that as well. I think
Mhm.
that because they've been using telepathy for so long that, that they're not used to using their voices, they have to relearn how to use their actual voices because,
Yes.
and I mean, because when they were communicating with us, like I was able to make out things that they were saying. Like there was a question about that you had asked about when are we going to have actual physical contact and or something along those lines. And that the year had come across, and I
Mhm.
think it was a date too. It was like April or
Mhm.
something like that of next year, and
Yeah.
and I remember hearing that like clear as day come through the transmission. And I
Hmm.
also, what was the other thing that they had said that had come back clear?
Are you hearing? Oh, 'cause it's coming from your end. There's some noise coming. This is weird. When I'm talking, does anyone hear like a static when I start talking? No, it just stopped. Okay. All right. For a minute, there was some weird noise coming through.
Huh.
Yeah, it just came through. It stopped. Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
As we're talking,
I'm like,
You know what it
I'm
is.
standing still. I'm like, don't
It.
move.
No, no, you're good. It's when we're having this conversation. This is how it happens on TikTok with them. When we're having this conversation, as it gets deeper into talking about them and about them, it's like a noise started happening. It's like, yeah, it started happening. So we keep talking. We'll just keep talking. Like I said, I believe that they're tuned into whatever frequency I'm on, and they could be listening right now, which I believe they are.
Now, I also want to say too that um now with when you had there was some transmissions that you were having with Gotta Go,
Hmm.
and there was crystals placed on a radio, and I had done some snapshots
Hmm.
of the show, and was able to I was actually able to make out their faces. Now I just want
Hmm.
to say that the reason I brought up the light being in the portal was because the light being that walked across my grass that ever so long ago
Yeah.
um looked exactly like the face that was coming through your guys' transmission.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, I think that they
Very
can.
interesting.
Yeah, so that's why I brought it up because when I
Yeah.
went back and looked at it, I was like, "Oh my God, that looks just like," you know. So I went back and I examined those photos and I sent them to you. So when you
Oh,
get a
good.
minute, take a look. But I sent you the snapshots and you can make out their faces clear as day and that and those transmissions when those crystals were placed and they were able to come through, there's actual faces that are in there. And there was
Wow.
one, I think there was one, I think I got one too of a face that was next to you that looked exactly like the faces in the crystal that was on
Yeah.
your end.
People were
Yeah.
saying initially, and we have Tom Perez here, who's a friend of the show, and I
Hey,
want you
how
to
are
stay on.
you?
Hey, Tom, we're going to keep you on. We can keep Friends with Fairies on and talk more. But yeah, I just want to say that initially people say, "Hey, Commander, there's some tall being behind you." Now, when I would turn around, I didn't say anything, so I'm straight honest. I'm not going to make anything up. But people were saying things that I wasn't saying. But I couldn't deny it because of the experiences with the music, which started over a month ago. And I want to welcome Tom into the show. Hey, Tom, good evening. Welcome to Encounters.
Hey. Now, you remember my story. I don't know if you do or not.
Go into it a little bit more. It's been a crazy
Yeah, I was
period.
visiting in Puerto Rico, family and what have you. And we were all on the porch, and everyone's like, "Oh, look, 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 look." And I'm looking up, and I don't see anything. And then eventually I did. And there was this aircraft above a pine tree. Do you remember
Hmm.
I told you this story?
Yeah, that I do remember, the palm tree thing. Yeah.
And it was huge, but the light was going so fast. I don't know if it was going back and forth or whether it was going around and around.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then all of a sudden, it just, poof. I mean, you can see it just glide through the sky and just disappear.
Yeah. It's
And
gone.
we all ran thinking that it crashed. And we're going in people's private yards and, houses and what have you, looking
Yeah.
for this
Kept
aircraft.
looking for it. Yeah. Yep.
And we didn't find anything. And as we're coming back, I remember holding my brother-in-law's hand because he ended up urinating on himself. Do you remember I told you? And he
Yes.
was
Yes,
so
I do
scared
remember
and
that.
terrified. I had to hold his hand and was like, "It's okay, dude. Relax, relax." I'm wondering why it touched him so much more than the rest
Than
of
you?
us. You know what I mean? I'm
Probably.
wondering whether he was been contacted before or not.
Well, he'd have to go through a person that's good enough that knows what they're doing, who can hypnotize him. That's what I think you're going to have if he wants to do it. But you have to really do some research and make sure you get somebody who's honest and real, who's involved in the subject matter that can hypnotize him and possibly bring back some memory of possibly an experience. I think that he was more interested in it. It could be that he was always interested in it quietly, but he never talked about it with the rest of you in the
Yeah,
family.
he was
Uh,
terrified. I mean, he was
mhm.
like so scared, and we're walking back to my sister's house, and I mean, like I said, he urinated himself. He was like terrified. And
Yeah.
I'm
So you know what?
wondering,
The thing is, when people have those experiences, there's two things going. Either they had something happen, or they were just the human mind was so afraid of something it didn't understand they would get terrified. So there's two things, and it's complicated because it could be nothing negative. It could be the person's mental condition was, I'm really afraid of what's going on here. I don't understand it, and therefore these things happen. Or it could be something else happen. But the only way you're going to find that out, I think, is finding somebody who's involved in ET hypnotism,
yeah,
hypnotizing somebody who's involved and honest and is well known in the field to hypnotize people that have had experiences like this.
yeah. My friend told me the same thing. They told me to have him be hypnotized because
Yeah.
they were mentioning stories where like prior to this incident where they saw like humanoids, looking through their windows. So I'm wondering whether that had to affect him,
Well, now
but a
when
lot
they
of my
talk about
friends tell
humanoids,
me,
they've seen in other instances themselves humanoids looking through the windows of a flying saucer or a spaceship.
I'm
Are
sorry,
these
say
other
that again?
people? You're saying, you just mentioned the comments, so I'm trying to figure this out. You're saying your friends have mentioned seeing humanoids on these craft. Are these other events that other people have had? That's what I'm trying
No,
to
no,
figure
no.
out.
My friends were telling me to have him hypnotize to determine where his feelings are coming from and why he was so terrified
Right.
after
But you
I
just
had told
mentioned,
him that story.
yeah,
But
but
then
about
there
the
was
humanoids.
incidents where my brother-in-law was telling me that he saw humanoids looking
Oh, your
through his
brother-in-law.
window.
Okay. So, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, he needs to be hypnotized. You need to just go for it and not wait. You need to get, but you need to find the right person, man or woman, that is in the field that has worked on these cases before. That's what you need to do, Tom. I think I'd recommend that.
Hey, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Why is it that the United States wants to have uh maybe you guys on the panel can help me out. Space, what do you call it?
Inter, you
Do they
mean
feel that
interstellar? You mean why does the like NASA and all these people want to travel into other places?
no, 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 they want to build a huge station
Space.
because they're right. I heard of this and I'm wondering why they want to do this. Is it because they don't want people to know the truth and they want to cause a world galaxy war?
No, I don't think that. I think first of all, where did you hear this information from? Because my background's news media, so you know I'm going to ask the question: what's the source of the information?
CNN,
Yeah, I wouldn't buy
Fox,
into that too much.
MSB.
Fox, CNN, you know, those projected medias will project, and they're showing you a little bit of stuff, but you're not really going to get the full truth. And I would
Right.
put a
So
little grain of
what's
salt into a
It's
lot
fake
of what they
news,
tell you.
just like
A lot
Trump
of it's
says. A
fake.
lot of it's fake. A lot of it is. Yeah,
You know,
they
your
try
friends
to
are,
they use fear as leverage against
yeah, it's all
people.
fear based. It has
so
nothing to
do
do
you
with the
think
reality.
that so do you think that they really want to cause war against them because they're coming to Earth to tell us the truth of where we come from?
Well,
'Cause
I'll have
I
the
truly believe
panel. I'm
that.
gonna have. I'm gonna have the panel. I'm gonna make one statement down of Chezno and Friends with Faries, who has said a lot of connections with the space people. I will say this: no, I will tell you for 70 years, the government has covered up the existence of the fact that there are people from other planets coming to Earth, and they've been here for billions of years. The inner Earth people,
Yes.
the
Yes.
Hollow Earth people, the very advanced people. No, there's a lot of disinformation, misinformation. Anything on major networks, turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. You want to get good information, not to boost my ego here. This show is a place where you'll get good information because people share real experiences, not about NASA or the Air Force building a big mega ship or something. That we've known for years that they want to colonize other planets in the solar system. They're not going to be able to do it. We've known for years that the top secret levels of the DoD and others that are involved in other countries dealing with the ET levels, if anything, because now that contact is soon, I wouldn't say imminent, but very soon, they're
Yes.
freaking out. They don't know what to do. So now the national media or the international media is being told the script of what to tell people to divert them from what's really going on, which is the fact that we're going to have contact soon. And billions of people on this planet have no idea what's going on right now. That's the answer to the question. That's my answer. I'll turn it over to Chezno, and then definitely Friends with Fairies can give you some other perspective.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard a lot of stuff, but as far as like battling other peoples, that's just not going to happen. They are
No.
millions of years ahead of. It wouldn't even make sense to even start a war or do anything like that. And they created the Space Force to protect us, I guess, against like an invasion. But I don't think that's ever going to happen because I think they would have done it by now. Or
Exactly.
yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me.
No, it'll
But do
never
you
happen.
think that the government does want to cause a war so that We
Do they
are
want to
not.
cause
Government
a
wants to
war?
keep us in fear. The government
Yeah.
wants to keep us in fear, so we are afraid of
Exactly.
these
Thank you.
beings.
That's what exactly I was thinking. I was thinking that they want to cause a war so that the intelligent beings cannot educate us of where we actually come from, because I believe
They
our
put out
DNA has been mixed with.
misinformation about these beings. I mean, think about it. If they wanted to hurt us, don't you think they would have a long time ago?
Yes,
They
I
would have been
agree.
And a lot of these
slowly
beings,
putting
these
contact
negative beings,
consciousness
like
with
some of
us.
the, yeah, it's like some of the reptilians, they actually feed off of negative energy. So
Oh
they'll
yeah, they
create
do.
chaos just to, it's like gives them a high almost. That's what I've heard, and I believe that, and it would make sense.
Hmm.
That is why they control the news, they control everything. So it's just fair tactic.
And let me
Now,
also
do
say,
you
Tom,
believe
to
that the
you.
government, like, I don't want to
Let
be
me
too,
well, let me
Opened
say
up a
something to you,
can of
Tom.
worms here.
Let me put it this way. I'm gonna give you some information here. The space people, I work with the Ashtar Galactic Command beyond being on the show. I've worked with the Ashtar Command before there was, and again, I will preface this by saying, before there were people channeling it on the internet, on Facebook and YouTube. I've been working with the command before there was any internet thing called an internet or social media or cell phones and direct communications. And I can tell you that the galactic beings from all the planetary worlds of light are so advanced, there is no war that will ever be happening. They would shut down every electronic system of missiles. They'll shut down every system all over the world that tries to start shooting missiles at spaceships. It's
well, they've done
I'm
that
giving
before, right?
they've shut down all the nuclear weapon facilities in the
Yeah.
19 during the Cold War. I was around during the Cold War, and
Okay.
they shut down all the nuclear facilities during the Cold War. That's why the planet is still here, because the Ashtar Command, which is the umbrella of many planetary worlds, actually did shut down these. There's documentaries already that have been on History Channel talking about how these nuclear facilities were shut down, and they have docudramas showing these guys in what appears to be a nuclear facility down in the ground, and all of a sudden everything goes off. Their nuclear weapons cannot turn on. They can't shoot them into the sky or anything. So what I'm saying is, the U.S., no matter how advanced their technology is on the planet to try to shoot missiles or whatever, they'll never be able to do it. Their nuclear facilities, their weapons will be shut down and dismantled electronically within 2 nanoseconds. That's exactly what will happen. I'm giving you some real information here, just so you know.
And just to kind of hone in on Grace, because I know she isn't in here right now, she would tell you to make sure that you are meditating and keep yourself at a high vibration, keep yourself light, and don't feed into this fear-based stuff.
Right.
There are not, I mean, they're like us. There's good ones and there is some bad ones. But I'll
Right.
tell you, in all the years that I have been in contact with all these dimensional beings, I can tell you that 90% of them aren't here to hurt us. They're
That's right.
not. They are been trying to help us help ourselves.
Well stated. Well stated. That's so important. And matter of fact, speaking, let's see what we got here. And JMKER, we're going to bring her on. Uh, we've had her on before. And we have a nice audience here in the studio at Encounters. Hey, good evening.
Hey, so first I want to say, happy holidays, Merry Christmas to everybody, and I hope that everybody's having a wonderful night.
You too.
Um,
You too.
I actually wanted to hop on, and this is going to sound silly because I feel like every time I come on, I always bring this up, but I actually found out that there was another quote unquote like Phoenix Lights that happened um, in like 2019.
Hmm.
And it was super exciting because apparently there were already so many that had seen it the first time that it came, but being set technology had advanced obviously, and everybody had better cameras and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There was more videos, and also Kurt Russell has gone on to say that he saw Phoenix Lights. So
That's right. He did.
I just always like I get excited, and it may be silly, and I'm sorry if it's silly, but I
Oh,
always get
nothing
so
silly here. Our
excited.
encounters. You're not silly. Go ahead.
I just get excited when, like, quote unquote, the big name people come out and say, no, like, I seen this. There's no denying it. I seen this. And it
Hmm.
just, I don't know, I get excited. So I just wanted to share.
Well, you know what? A friend of ours, Dimitri, was actually there during the sightings.
Yep,
So
that's
I'm
my
going to bring
brother.
Dimitri on. We'll bring Dimitri on and
The
let him,
first one
since
or
you,
the newer one?
well, I don't know if it was
I
the
think he
first
said
one or
the
the new one.
original, the
The
initial
Okay.
original
event.
one,
I
yeah.
think in
Okay, yeah.
'96
So
or
So the
in
so.
original one.
96, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's interesting. And you're in Arizona too. So this is great to have
Yes.
two people in Arizona. Dimitri was there. Hey, Dimitri, how you doing,
Hi,
brother?
Dimitri. Nice to meet you.
What's up, fam? What's up? It's good to be here. Yeah, so I grew up in Phoenix, and I was actually there when I was a little kid when that all happened, and I remember everybody in the neighborhood was watching it. So it was one of the first times that it was a mass event for the
Yeah.
general public to be all in tuned. So thought I'd just jump in and talk about that for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
I was 16, and it's funny
16.
because my mother had called me because it was my older brother's birthday, and back then at 18 you were allowed to go to the casino and go gambling, so they took him out for his birthday, and my mom calls me on the phone, and I'm thinking, oh shoot, I'm in trouble because I wasn't supposed to have friends over, and I had friends over, because that's what you do when you're 16. And I'm like, oh, I'm so busted. And she's on the phone and she's like almost screaming into the phone, and I'm like, calm down. What are you talking about? She's like, go outside. You have to go outside and see
Outside.
it. And I went outside,
Wow.
and I'll tell you, it was the most life-changing experience I have ever had.
Hmm.
It was
Hmm.
amazing. It was not scary at all. Like
Yeah.
at all.
And Dimitri, for you, you're in Arizona too. So at your age, when you saw this, how long were you watching it, and what were you feeling as a kid?
Man, I don't remember how old I was a kid. This happened in the '90s, so I remember being
Hmm.
a small kid, and the thing I remember the most. I live in Hawaii now, so I'm out in Hawaii. I see
Okay.
a lot of other UAPs
Yeah,
and
yeah,
UFOs
Hawaii,
out
yeah.
here. But the thing I remember the most is the misinformation that was spread about the event by the news.
Yes.
Following like the few hours afterwards, the military came out. There's a lot of Air Force bases in Arizona,
Yes.
and automatically they came out and they're like, "Oh, that was us. No big deal. It was weather balloons. It was flares. It was." They try to just persuade everybody that they were going crazy. It was gaslighting at the max.
Yeah.
That's what I
And the
remember the most.
governor of your state at the time tried to
Yes.
make a joke of it, but after he retired, he told the truth and said, "Yeah, they were real."
Yeah.
I wonder. I never. And again, this is all a speculation at this point, but why would the governor, who knew this was true, not come on and tell the truth at the time when he was governor? It would have legitimized a lot of things. It could have gotten him in trouble because you said there are a lot of Air Force bases
Yeah.
in Arizona. But if he told the truth, what would be the big deal with that? Then it would just say, well, hey, look, I'm going to tell the truth. They did see a spaceship. They're here, and it wasn't the Air
Yeah.
Force
They
base
weren't, that
next
wasn't
door.
really widely accepted back then. It was still like Roswell type
Yeah,
stuff,
Yes.
I
Oh,
just
for
feel
sure.
like they were just pushing, they were just covering it up still. It just isn't, yeah, obviously, as you know, just
yeah,
recently they just started coming
yeah.
out with this.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's
And
just recently. Yeah,
yeah. And that was, I mean, like he said, like Demetrius said, there are bases everywhere. And I mean, you can't. They're in every town.
yeah.
Like pretty much. And so it was really hard. And I remember even like, going to school the next day or whatever, and saying,
Yeah.
I saw that, and everybody's like, no, you didn't. You saw this, blah 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 blah. So
Yeah,
even like
true.
the general public, it was like you were ridiculed. So I just, for the longest time, I kept it to myself. even
Yeah.
though I
No.
had my whole family and like 6 or 7 of my friends, we were
Hmm.
all standing out there looking at it. There was no denying it. None.
Anybody hearing
You
the
know,
static?
Oh, it
yeah, I
might
had the
be.
static.
Is that better? It might be on my end.
Oh yeah, it was. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Keep going.
It's not the static we were looking for. Usually,
Right. Yeah,
if
I know. I just want
Gadaco
to make
comes through,
everybody
folks,
excited.
I will hear static all over my phone, and it won't be just one person. I'll tell you that. But speaking of which, we will have Gadaco. I'm hoping that I haven't done the video yet, but we're going to plan another one for Friday. First up to contact my co-creator working with me now, which is John Connors he's in Arizona, and we're going to use radio frequencies, but we also know that Gadaco, just not to get off track, can come through my TikTok, which he did initially over a month ago. So yeah. Anyway, and I'm feeling a coolness, a breeze now, but I don't think there's anything to do anything. We'll find out.
GM Kirk.
Whenever I feel a cool breeze, if I really feel it, I'll ask people watching this, and I can't make this up. People say, "Oh yeah, Commander, I'm feeling the same thing." I feel this a little bit. It could be it's cold outside. I don't know. It's not really cold outside, so I'm not going to go wandering in my consciousness here about this little cool feeling in my back. But Maria's saying she feels a coolness now, and so if I don't see a lot of people saying that, then I will know it's not happening. Pretty much.
I mean, I'm outside, so I'm a little cold, but that's
thank you,
because I'm
Laura.
outside.
Yeah.
Just to piggyback on what GM Kirk said, do you agree with me that the government is now allowing people and they're telling the truth, whereas back then they denied it and said it was a weather balloon and what have you?
The government can't really stop it. That's the thing. The government has no control over it anymore.
Right, because it's now more obvious, isn't it?
Well, no. Well, it's not so much obvious. There are people that are inside the DOD that have had it, and they're coming forward. They're coming forward not because they were told to, because they're coming forward. That's why you're seeing Grush and all these people coming forward, and that's not the end of it. There's going to be more of them coming forward, I hear, next year, which is coming up pretty soon, that more of these people in these different departments that are dealing with this are going to come on. They've had it. They're done with it. You know, these old generals for 70 years have controlled the narrative, and it's over. You know, there's no way they can't stop it. Let me put it this way. There's a divine timing right now, you know, and, you know, we can use the excuse that the positive beings cannot interfere because of universal non-intervention. That has been the case primarily for a long time, but also understand that that excuse doesn't work anymore because the space people, the positive ones, are here, and there is a divine timing where now they're supposed to be here. So they're supposed to actually, they're not interfering with us. They're connected with us. So if you understand what
they're helping us.
Well, they and us are all connected, meaning, like, if I would say, Tom, for example, whether you don't have any memory of it yet, you will eventually remember as you're learning. But we are all connected. We're all connected. There's no separation. We have separated ourselves from them, but them is us. And when I say them is us, I don't mean we. They come from many different planetary worlds beyond our frequency. Now our planet is in a vibrational pattern 30 years later, where you're seeing the space people who you've had an idea about, but now you're seeing them. So what you're going to see in the next 2 years is an increased amount of contact, you know, and you're going to see a lot of people reconnecting on a physical basis like I'm having. It'll be a one-on-one thing to start. It'll be people having one-on-one contacts in their home, in their cabin, wherever they are. It's going to be very gently done, not to freak people out. But it's going to eventually become a point where the spaceships are going to be seen all over the world coming from outer space. So people need to realize that, including yourself.
That being said, I think that 2024 is going to be miraculous. I mean, it's going to be completely strange. I mean, new things are going to happen. I think that awakening is going to happen. And when I say that, I mean consciousness is going to open up where, like, right now people use like 10% of their brain. I think that consciousness is going to awaken us so much where we're going to end up using more of our consciousness, more of our brain. And I think that, like you mentioned, people from space are the ones that open up what our
Well, they're not going to.
understanding
They're not
is.
opening up. The people from space are not opening up our consciousness. We're doing that. They're not doing the work for us. They're not going to say, "Here, okay, I'm going to turn your thing on here." It's up to the individual human being to do the work. That's the thing. The commanders always told me, we're not here to be the overseers, your gods. We're not your gods. We're people like you. We're just people. We come from many planetary worlds. People need to. This is really important. When contact happens, do not look at something like space gods are coming to save you. No one's going to save anybody. People have to get that out of their heads. That's been part of the New Age community thing. Oh, they're going to come and save us. No, they're here to be with us, but they're here to see us wake up on our own level, that we are independent beings of light, that our human form is our human form, our brain is our brain, but we're way more than that. You see, in my experience, coming from Mars, no one showed me the way to do what I do. I always met the right people that I was connected with. Ashtar Athena, who's in LA, I met her. She is part of the contactee movement in the 60s. She knew all those people that were taken on board physical spaceships. They called themselves Venusians, but they weren't all from Venus. They were from other spiritual worlds. So it's up for you, Tom, and any other person like you. You have to do the work. They're not here to turn your cellular system on. You have to do that. And, and everyone will do it at their own time. Next year, the timeline has been amped up. So people need to know this, that 2027 is officially, even the DOD knows this because Shai said it, that the DOD knows that 2027, there's something that major is going to happen. But I think the timeline now has shifted because we are rapidly changing our consciousness to the point where, whether we realize it or not, they're here to come. There's nothing that's going to stop the space people from coming. They are here now. They've been here for billions of years. Don't get me wrong. But I'm talking about a mass contact, not like trinkles here or trinkles there in a village somewhere in Europe. I'm talking about mass contact and communications. There's a big shift coming. Maria's right. It is a big shift, and it is coming. People need to not start going and saying, "Oh, the space people are coming to save us." No, you need to get off your seat and work on yourself. You need to start meditating, connecting with your higher self, and asking yourself who you are beyond the name that you've been given by your biological parents. You're not from this planet. None of you are. Some of you already know that, but you need to work on yourself now. You need to focus on elevating your frequency, elevating your consciousness in terms of being able to understand and communicate with the space people that are going to be coming here. That's really, really important. So there you go. That's my spiel.
The concept of contact is for many people seen as something physical, something that's going to be seen here on this planet Earth, and that will eventually happen. But interstellar travel is has been seen, but the most likely approach is going to be intraspace contact through consciousness, contact through the mind. And a lot of us who have had contact can attest that when we speak with these people, these beings, these spirits, these light sources, it's telepathic. We don't necessarily speak language. It's not a verbal language. It's a feeling. It's an emotion and a language that's spoken through the mind. So people need to get away with the concept of the physicality of the first contact and get in the notion of understanding that it's going to be intraspace.
Yeah. And someone said, Chris Litter says, I want to answer the question. Says, Commander, you said you're from Mars. Are you human or Martian? I am both. So I want to explain this. And I came out of the closet a number of years ago when I was a kid. And then I went back in the closet when I was a kid for many years. But I came out, I've been on my radio show over 20 years. I came out of the closet and told people I was from Mars. Now, when I say that, understand what I mean. And from my Martian consciousness, which I'll bring in right now, I have a multi-level consciousness. In terms of when I say multi-level, I work in cosmic Christ consciousness. That's a whole nother story I'll save. But in terms of your question about Martian, yes, I am Martian. The Martian people are also human-like here on Earth, but the difference between Mars and Earth is the Martians have been through a lot. They made some technical mistakes scientifically a long time ago, and then they corrected it. They are very advanced. They're very spiritually tuned into the Creator. They don't have any religions on Mars like on Earth. They don't have shopping centers and malls like on Earth. They don't have cars like on Earth. The Martian people have tubular traveling systems within Mars. Within Mars, they also have they are able to grow vegetables within the planet. They have systems where sun energy is given to support the nutrients needed for the plants to grow. The Martian civilization has what you call Martian cities within the planet, and there's also some Martian cities on the surface on one corner of the planet, including a polar ice cap, which has been many years ago taken pictures of by NASA space satellites. So Mars has an atmosphere, a lighter blue atmosphere than the Earth, which is a darker blue. There's oxygen now on Mars. People are able to breathe. That's why sometimes undoctored pictures from the Land Rover come out, and they're not, for whatever reason, they're not wiped out. And you see people or a person standing up on the surface of Mars. These are Martian people. They are human. If you look closely at them, of the images, they are actually human like you are, men and women like we are, but they are spiritually more advanced than we are. To answer that person's question, great question. So I am human. I was born here. I came here on behalf of the Ashtar Command before I came to Earth. And I'm going back to Godico. What they said to me is, Commander, we knew of you before you were born. They knew of me when I was in my mother's womb, who was human. They knew of me. So they've known of me from the star system, from the constellation Sirius, and I never knew of them. At least I don't ever remember that. But you see, even though I don't remember anything like that, even though I'm from Mars, the being Godico said, well, we went to school. Now, school in terms of like Earth-based school is different on other planets. It's not like a school, like you go to a school, you read a textbook. But evidently we had a connection, interplanetary connection, and he was my friend when I was just a kid on this other world, so everything comes as coordinate, like you were saying, Dimitri, everything is consciousness, telepathic communications. We're connected that way. They're mostly telepathic, not that they cannot verbally speak, but most interplanetary spiritual beings use telepathy. We just talk, we have mouths, we can talk. It's all by consciousness, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Absolutely true.
And they'll even sometimes just communicate with just putting images in your head as well,
Right,
not necessarily
images too,
speaking
yes.
to. Yeah.
And for
Right,
those
images.
of you who don't know, Godico is a space being that the commander has been in contact with for a couple of months now. He made first contact through, and I'll say it, Commander, so you don't have to, through his Alexa app. Made first contact through that and has been in contact with him ever since. And it's been on his shows. It's not fake. It's the real deal. And it's really an amazing thing. But along the lines of these communications, for the people that are new, Godico is a space being that has contacted the commander, and it's not channeled. He's been coming through on TikTok. He's been coming through on radios. He's been coming through on the Alexa app and on several different devices to contact the commander. And him and the commander were actually friends off planet for many years, and they went to school together. And I'll let you take it, Commander. Just wanted to throw it out there for the new people.
I appreciate that, and anytime you want to do that, that's fine, because you watched every show that I've had, and every show that was of that contact is on my YouTube channel, Astro Command Spaceship News. You'll have to go through the titles of my shows, but the ones that I've had them on, you'll be able to watch the show, and you can go fast forward or whatever. You'll see me talking with them. You'll hear me talking with them. So it's been a big experience, all the things I have known, and from my experience before Earth and coming here, and being out of the closet about being from Mars, and then having this happen. I've never, and I can honestly say, in my life here, with all the things I know cosmically, when I had this happen the night with the app, my face was like, look, people said your face looks like I was like, I mean, I was shocked. I didn't know what was going on. So that was the first expression. I went into the room and then heard the music. I said, this is weird. And I said, there's nobody in the room. The music's playing on the app. You know, what's going on here? Then I come back, I'm live. I was getting ready to, actually, friends will tell you this. I was getting ready to end the show when this happened. And since then, that changed everything. I mean, everything I understand, even that I thought I understood, now my consciousness is elevated to something very different, right? They're making direct contact. Direct contact is not somebody sitting in a room with you, one-on-one channeling some space person. They do that all over Facebook. The communication, and you can watch the 2-minute clips on my Ashtar Command main page, my profile page. There's 2 or 3 clips of Godico coming through the radio, Godico responding. So that's not channeled, that's direct voice communications from their ship using a radio frequency. So I'm here to teach people a few things too, because I am a contactee from the 60s, and now I'm a contactee communicating again with space people through TikTok, through radio frequency, and through the A app. So, you know, I think right now, I would say in this case, that is, for me, there are other people, like Friends with Faries that has also, she's been a contactee for a long time. She has very direct experiences, so she understands this. If you're a direct contactee, it's very different than people saying, I'm channeling Kabosh from the planet so-and-so. You know, when you have direct contact, you'll know it. They'll contact you in a certain specific way. And I think that's where we're going. I think we're going to individual conscious to conscious contact, like you were saying, Dimitri. It's all consciousness. You know, they can do it that way, but also if Dimitri has a radio or has an app, they can take over the app and communicate directly that way too. You know, they're so far beyond our understanding in terms of the way they communicate. They have no limit in terms of the way they communicate, right, Dimitri? From your perspective, what you're saying is true.
Yeah, my approach has been through transcendental meditation and through the external source of dimethyltryptamine. And what I have learned is that this life that we have now is just a fraction of the absolute. Our consciousness being eternal, we have lived so many lives. This is just one. This is just one of them. And ultimately, what we can see is when we either meditate or take sacred plant medicine, we can see these other worlds. We can get a glimpse of these other worlds and experience other lives. On my channel, I talk about the other experiences and lives that I've actually seen, and not only have I communicated with other beings, but I have actually become or seen my life as a different being itself.
Different being, right?
Yeah, so I remember waking up as a different body, an alien body, and seeing all
or
that.
a space being. You know, like that's what I'm saying. I came from Mars. I'm human, but now, and Dimitri might be getting there using certain methods to get there, but that doesn't mean you can't do it by meditating or by connecting with higher self. There's no one way of doing it. He's successfully done it that way. Remember, you can do it many different ways. And the thing is, but if you don't do it, if you don't try to, you know, like learn how to connect either through higher self or meditation, you're missing out on an opportunity because going back to Chris, I appreciate your questions. You know, it'll take time. As you watch my show, it'll make more sense. You know, Chris says he's trying to make sense of it, and I appreciate that, Chris. That's why I love your question, because it's something new. You're not going to hear about this on CNN's talk shows, NBC, CBS. They won't even talk about this stuff. That's why this show is going to be probably on a scale, the #1 spiritual UFO talk show, because there isn't, I don't care if someone's on YouTube talking with high-level officials from the Department of Defense. We're here having some real experiences. We're people here that are actually the people having these experiences. And I love the people who are finding my show that have no experience, because I want you to be here. You're going to learn a lot of stuff on this show. from different people, and that's why this show is so unique. It's a talk show. I come from that background, and I still do 20 years of radio, and so I have a very good mind. When I get into my talk show mind, I do that because that's part of my background. When I ask questions of people, if I hear something that I'm not sure about, I will grill them on the question. Like I'll say, what is the source of your information? That comes from my news background. I studied journalism. I was trained for 4 years on how to be doing news. So I have all those aspects to me, but then also the same token, I come from Mars. I worked the Ashtar Command. So it's kind of like not complicated to some people, maybe. I just have too many chapters in my book. So it depends which chapter I open up, I'm sure that goes for everybody on here on the panel. If you ask a question, the panelists will cover that area if they know the information, right? So yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And I'm here to answer questions, and my panelists can answer questions too, because I have some good people here. And like I said, what we're getting into now is the time period is like advanced so fast that we're getting into a time period where people saying, and I listen to the people writing here, I've had an experience the other night, I did this thing happened. There's so many people having experiences just in the comments. People share comments here. Oh yeah, I just had an experience last week. Yeah, it's because exactly what we're all talking about. Contact is coming individually to individual people. It's not at first. It's going to be individual. Eventually, it's going to be a mass consciousness. If anybody in the panel wants to take off on that, go ahead.
Now I saw that CJ had made a comment about space beings being angels. CJ, my very first contact was with a space being that actually looked like an angel. He actually had wings, but they were made of energy. I truly did believe at the time that it was an angel. I thought that it was, but come to find out that it was a space being. But they are absolutely beautiful, and they can look like angels.
Right. And True Machine Alpha is saying, I'm open to new information, but doesn't seem like anyone is trying to make contact with me just yet. So I'm going to let the panelists kind of respond to True Machine, how to help them, or her or him, how to help them get on that roll.
I know True Machine Elf, and I'm going to tell him that you get the trip you need, not the one you want. Maybe it's not what you need right now. It's maybe it's about practicing patience and understanding that you will eventually, all of us will eventually get that contact. It's just a matter of time. Literally, it's just a matter of waiting and being patient. We will see the truth.
Yeah, and this is an actual image of a star. When they blink, if I like to slow things down and I pause them, and I caught this image, and it looks just like an angel. And I thought that
let me bring the image up. Hold on a minute.
It has a face. You can see the wings on it. It has like a hat on. I found that incredibly interesting. And I think that stars are enlightened souls that are stuck to the firmament. That's just what I believe. And I that kind of validated that for me.
Mm-hmm. It's an interesting photo, and it's Chezno's perspective, and it's very interesting, the picture itself, and a very, very beautiful photo, by the way. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. Now, how do I reconnect this back? So yeah, those kinds of things are certainly possible. And does anybody else have any responses or comments about the other person's question?
Yeah, I actually just, I kind of wanted to piggyback with what Dimitri said, is that, it comes in, some people say it comes in divine time, or, whatever label you want to put on it. It comes maybe when you need it the most, because I know, like, for me, I mean, I wasn't getting in trouble. I wasn't a bad kid or anything like that. So it certainly wasn't like I needed a life altering experience. But it was, for me, it was at a time where I had closed one chapter, and I needed to open another one, and this just was that, that chapter. So in to kind of go back a little bit, how you were saying about the communication itself, I can honestly say that yes, it's not normal communication. I mean, I felt the love. I felt the togetherness. I felt the peace. It wasn't like, I have no words to. Joy is not enough. Joy is not enough at all to express it's just the only thing I can tell you that comes close is I'm a mom, and I have three very, very wonderful, very, very beautiful children. And I'm sorry, it's making me a bit emotional, but
That's okay.
it is so deep that it is like that bond that you have with your children when you first hold them after they're born, and you're just loving on them. Like, that is as close as I can come to tell you guys, like, how it feels. And I'm just, eternally grateful for that experience, because it's amazing. And one thing, and Tom, I think this might help you. I teach this to anybody who will listen. One of the easiest ways to start understanding the connection and everything is, first off, throw all that other stuff away. Who cares if the government's trying to keep it from people, blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that. Throw all that away, because that doesn't matter. Like, in the bigger perspective, none of that matters. What matters is that people start realizing that we're all connected. Everything is connected. And the easiest way that I have found to teach even children this is to start thinking about every action, everything that you do, it affects other people. So, like, as an example that I like to give to my children, when they do something and they get grounded, it has a ripple effect on everybody around them. Their friends can't talk to them. Their friends can't tell them about their day. They're upset because they're grounded, blah, 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 this, but it has a much, much bigger effect. So if you focus on your little world and the things that are going on in your little world, and you start there, you'll start to see the nuances where, oh, okay, yeah, I guess I am connected with this. And oh, I guess I am connected with that. And that will slowly start to rise your vibration, and you will get to the point where you yourself have, quote unquote, ascended, as they say. And my words may not be correct, but that's the easiest way that I can explain it.
There's no wrong wording. You have to express it through what you understand.
Yeah.
No one can say, well, you used the wrong word. The words are coming from your true self, and that's the most honest answer you can give somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, you just, even if you have to start little, I'm even to the point where, like, I don't even, kill bugs or anything like that, because they are loving creatures too. And if, I'm in Arizona, we've got some pretty big spiders and scorpions and some pretty dangerous things here. And so, the instinct is protect yourself, but I don't even do that. I scoop them up and I shoo them outside and find them a nice comfy place, and I say, please stay there. I don't want you in my house, but please stay and share my area, but not that close. So, I mean, that's just, I don't know, like, my kids, my biggest thing is I do it all for them, like, in the end, because it's so, even just the world itself, if you were to take away, the extraterrestrial side of it, the world itself can be so beautiful if you just take the time, as they say, to stop and smell the roses. So,
true.
Just got to
Very
slow
true.
it down,
Very well
that's
said.
all.
Slow it down. You see, that's what people, that is so important. The word slow it down, the sentence slow it down. Too many people, billions of people on earth don't slow it down. They're going up in the morning, have read newspaper, have breakfast, they send the kids to school, whatever. whether they're single or not. People are always rushing to go somewhere, but they
Yeah.
need to slow it down to smell the roses, right? And a lot
Yeah,
of people don't do
absolutely.
that. They're always looking straight ahead of them instead of sitting down and taking a deep breath and just relaxing and starting to feel the emotions of and feeling everything around them. They just keep going, going, going like a robot.
Yes.
But if they were to stop and slow down, they might just get it.
Yeah. And you know, the other thing too is there's no perfect way to meditate per se when you're first starting. Just sit there within yourself.
Yeah.
If nothing else happens, that's fine. You've got 5 minutes of peace or 10 minutes, however long.
Right.
Just
Absolutely true.
do it. Just do it.
Yeah. The words that you're speaking.
Really quick for letting me up. Peace and love, everybody. Quick shout out to
Dimitri,
Chezno
take
and
care,
everybody
brother.
else that follows me in the chat. Much love, everybody. Peace and love.
Take
See you
care.
around.
Thanks,
Bye.
Man, we'll see you.
See you soon, brother.
Take
All
care. Have a great night.
And now I got the screen the other way, but that's all right. I can never figure out how to get it back. I know how to turn it back the other way, but when I'm live, I don't think I can do that. So I'll just have to let it go. But yeah, it's just, it's what's been said is very true. I think we're living in a moment of time when that word slow it down, and there's no wrong way of meditating. If you want to learn, you'll eventually get there. There are people that will help people.
Yes.
A number of people, even on my show, we can help people with general basic information how to meditate. Because some people come in here and say, Commander, I don't know how to meditate. I don't know what meditate. I know what the word means, but I don't know how do I do it. So there's no wrong way of doing it, but there's a lot of us that can at least help people to get there. So,
Yeah.
and for me, that idea is to get the basic meditation down, just so you're at peace. That's the first thing. Forget about the ET contact. You got to be at peace with yourself and get your act together before you even make the contact. Because you don't have
Absolutely.
to act together, the star beings are not going to be communicated with because you won't know how to do it. There's like different levels. So you have to start basic and then work your way to that level to get to the star contact. And I think that's
Absolutely.
exactly what you're talking about. I think it's
Yes,
very, very
that's
And
exactly.
remember
That's
that
exactly
change
it.
starts with you. Change starts
Mhm.
within you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know?
And that's why, for me, I know I've said this before, that's why I work with the kids. I work with kids because that's, if you can start with the little ones. One of my favorite sayings is from the mouth of babes. And some profound things have come from, from children. And so, it does. It starts with you. And you can make a much bigger impact than what you realize. Like, people see themselves as being so small. You're not as small as you think you are, for sure.
Right. Yeah.
And you're part of a much bigger oneness or wholeness, as they would say. So
Yeah, I mean, it's well said. What you're saying is very true. You're giving some honest, emotional expressions of truth right there. Well, very well said. Excuse me for coughing. I don't have a cold, but I have a dry cough. I don't have my apple cider, but we'll get that all figured out. But yeah, I mean, this is the thing that our panelists are saying. It's very interesting if people, before we get to galactic contact on an individual basis, just basic meditation, learn how to do basic things. You listen to some very meditative music, learn how to, relax your breath, relax your body. And that's okay. Feel comfortable doing that to start. And if you're new to this whole thing, the subject and everything that we're talking about, the meditation is something you can start with and just get yourself feeling at peace every day. Then when you're ready to feel comfortable going to the next step with your higher self to make contact and figure out who your star family is, you'll get there when you're ready. There's no rush, I got some to share with all fresh organic. Fresh organic. I wish we can get you on live here. You have so many, you're at 648 followers. We got to get, I don't know what it is. She should be able to come on just audio, but we have to get Julie on here live. She has so many things to share. I'm hoping when you get to 1,000 followers, we can bring you on audio and on video. I'm not sure why that's not working. But you're watching Encounters. It's about 12, almost 12:30. I think at 12:30 we're going to call it a night. And what will happen is we'll be on tomorrow night, which is Tuesday night, around 11 p.m., maybe a little bit earlier. And I'm going to, but the last minute things, I want to thank everybody for being on the show. Tom Perez. I want to thank Friends with Faries for being here. And if all of you have any last minute comments, Chezno, my co-host, if you have any final comments, please share them. Also, I'd love to see people. I'm setting a galaxy goal. I'm pinning it right now before the show ends tonight. So I have a galaxy goal. And also, if you wish to make any donations directly through my Cash App, go on my main page for my Venmo. If you have Venmo, go to the Venmo app that you have, and you can make a donation through my Venmo right now or after the show. On my main page, I have a Cash App link for Venmo. That's what I use. So please do that. Also, I've set the galaxy here. So for a galaxy, it's 1,000 TikTok coins. So if you have like 10,000 TikTok coins or 20,000, you can use 1,000 of them and send me over a galaxy on the show here. That would be great. Or whatever you want to do. That's up to you. I'm just throwing that out there. So we're going to pass it around for some final comments before 12:30 on the East Coast, and we'll go from there.
All right. Yeah.
Thank you guys. I appreciate you both. Cino and Commander, thank you so much for having this live and having me on the panel. I greatly appreciate your knowledge, and I wish you a best night. I don't know if you're religious or not, but
No,
happy holidays.
I come from Mars. I'm not religious.
Okay.
There's no religion.
Right.
I am religious.
Night,
the only religion I have
you.
is the religion of love. That's it. That's my religion.
It was nice to
That's
meet you,
what's up.
Tom. Merry Christmas.
Okay, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
You too.
Thank you for everyone on the panel, and thank you for all the comments. Your live is really awesome, and I'm going to always be here watching you. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thank you. I appreciate that support so much, hearing that. Thank you very much, Tom. Pleasure having you on. And make sure he gets hypnotized. Make sure you find the right hypnotist. Do some research. Hypnotism is the next thing I want to hear about. And we'll turn over to our other panelists and continue here until 12:30. And any final notes anybody wants to make? Thank you for the Loretta. Thank you for the roses, and also the hanging lights. Thank you. Oh man, thank you for that. I feel blessed by putting that on my head. So thank you. And any last comments coming from our group here?
I just wanted to tell everybody to have a happy holiday. Stay safe. Keep your eyes to the skies. And Chezno, as always.
Friends with Faries, always a pleasure. Thank you for coming up.
All right. You guys have a wonderful night.
You too.
You too.
Friends with Fairies. And I'll take a look when I have time of the stuff you sent me regarding all the contacts and everything. So, and thank you for sharing your stories with us tonight. Let's see, we have a person that wants, I think it's Michelle. You know, we will actually let Michelle come on here because we'll try to get her in here for a minute. Hey, Michelle, welcome to the show. Hey, good evening. Welcome to Encounters. Are you there? Okay, I guess I don't.
Uno momento.
Oh, okay. Well, memento. Okay, I think she speaks Spanish.
I gotta hop down, Commander. Thanks for having me.
Take care, Chezno.
And yeah, I'll see you. Thanks, guys.
Right, take care,
Merry
man.
Christmas.
Have a good night, Chezno.
Okay, so let me see. I don't know if this is going to work. Do you speak English? Hello?
Have you shown me?
Okay.
Maybe
All right,
not.
we're gonna. I'm not sure what she said.
Mhm.
That's 5 rods. Look at this pipe. That's how much this costs.
I don't know.
Okay. I don't know what that's about. Anyway, we're gonna sign off the show on that note. Everybody
Yes.
have a good night. Commander's gonna
I
go to
was
sleep.
just gonna quickly say really quick, if anybody wants help with just, starting the basics with meditation, please feel free to, follow me and I'll teach you what I know. What are we but to be, helpful to others.
Right.
So if,
That's right.
if anybody, sincerely from the bottom of my heart, if any of you need help or anything, please, add me, send me a message, and I definitely will do what I
Wait a
can.
minute. Did you just hear something?
I did.
Hold on a second. Wait a minute.
Oh boy.
I can't believe this. I just heard something. All right. I don't believe I'm going to say this. I swear I just heard something. Was there a plane going by you?
No. And it's funny because we actually live under the flight path. So normally there would be, but there's not.
Was there any cars or trucks going by you?
No.
Okay. See, I have to ask these questions. I'm going to ask a question.
Okay.
Godico, are you with us, Godico? CmdrAleon, we have a Christed protection of the Ashtar Command around this show. I asked the Ashtar Command to protect the show. Godico, are you coming through TikTok? Godico. I swear I heard
No,
something.
I think I heard it. I'm pretty for sure I heard it too. And that's why, like, when you asked, I was like even double checking to make sure there wasn't anything in my area, or coming over my sound or whatever.
Okay, so more than one person heard something, correct?
Yeah, it wasn't just us, right?
Okay. Friends with Furry says her camera cut out and my lights are flickering.
Okay.
Like I said, Godico can come through. He came through here when I initially contacted him. Godico,
Okay.
this is CmdRAleon. I asked the Ashtar Command to put a strong protection around the field here within a 1 mile radius. Godico, this is CmdRAleon. Do you hear me? My friend James heard it too. Godico, I know you probably can come through. I'm feeling that that was you. Can you please amplify your communications through the TikTok app?
I'm gonna turn my mic off just to
Okay.
make sure that it,
Yeah, make sure. I was about to sign off, but then that noise happened, that sound happened, like it was a voice communications. I was going to go to sleep. We'll stay on for a few more minutes. I want to see something here. I'm listening. That's why I'm not saying anything. I'm listening. Godico, I'm listening here. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to see if you're coming through Godico, only Godico, from the star system's Syrian constellation and your people. Godico, can you hear me? Very quiet. No, I don't hear anything anymore. So what would be funny is if I'm ready to sign off and they start speaking.
Yeah.
Like I'm ready to go. If I'm ready to go to sleep and all of a sudden Godico starts speaking.
Yeah. It's it's divine timing.
And James is right. That could be. James says maybe just coming through to say goodnight, and I think that's probably
Oh yeah.
apropos. That, like I said, they're always able to hear me. And now my cat's here. You want to come back on?
Aw.
Oh, I got it. Here's my cat.
Hello, sweet baby.
Trying to go to sleep, Missy. Are you going to go to sleep? Can I go to sleep tonight? You know about Godico, right? Missy, you know a lot about Godico. You wanna tell us what you know? Would
We're
you like to
listening,
know or tell
sweetheart.
us?
We're listening.
They're waiting for you to speak. You're on camera. You're worldwide. You're famous Pikiti. You're famous.
Super kitty, superstar.
She loves being on the camera.
That's
You're
it.
famous Pikiti. I got you on TikTok. You're now famous. You're recorded. You're being recorded here. I wanted to go to sleep, but you came in here. She's just a ham at this. She's amazing. I think she just
Oh,
wants to be on here.
yes. Okay, now there is a truck.
Okay, truck going by.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know
Okay,
that's a
now
truck.
it's almost gone.
Truck's almost gone. So that was a truck.
Yes,
The
that
other
was a truck.
thing, when the other thing happened, there was nothing there, right? No
No,
pets,
there
no
was not
cars.
like it was oddly silent because it's not
Yeah.
usually I mean, I live in a pretty big town and so it's not usually quiet and it was oddly quiet. So,
Yeah. Well, that's good. And this is the thing where you like to teach people and deduct what things aren't.
right.
So we like to deduct things that aren't what they are. So we know that was a truck.
Right.
What people heard before was there was nothing there, no planes. We tried to deduct whether there was any airliner jets going by, a motorcycle. And once we get that out of the way, then the only thing we can tell you is it's something that wasn't
Something.
anything that
Yeah.
is earth-based noises or
Right.
sounds, you know?
Right. And it's funny because my husband and I as a hobby, we used to go ghost hunting and stuff like that. And so we use the same kind of, principle or practice is
Yeah.
that, you debunk what is something explainable and what isn't. And, you know, is the door, oh, the door is opening. Okay, well, does it come open on its own if you don't shut it all the way, or,
Yeah.
things like that. Even down to, I had a friend of mine come with us. He was an electrician. And because someone was saying, oh, well, the lights flicker, the lights flicker. And I'm like, okay, well, let's check it out and see if it's an electrical thing. And it was a good thing that he came because they found that one of the fuses were going bad and it almost started
Yeah.
an electrical fire. So, but
Yeah,
yeah,
on your
definitely.
now people are saying they're hearing a distortion on your end. They're hearing a
Like,
like a static. Give me a second here.
yeah, and there's nothing to cause static on my end. Someone said they heard like two voices.
I don't know if anybody else heard that. I heard a little bit of static coming in on your phone. It could be just the phone. It could be, trying to be logical about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we were saying, debunk what we can.
Right. But okay, we'll see what happens. I will be setting up stuff once I contact John Connors. We'll be setting up another contact event for Friday night. But it sounded off. Okay. James says it's gone now, but it sounded off. Okay. Interesting. Well, we know the other, the first one, which was, excuse me, the first one sounded pretty much interesting. All right. I'll leave people with a song here and a galactic song. Would you like to hear a song before the commander? I wasn't going to do this, but I will sing a
Yes, that
song.
would be amazing. I'm going to shut my mic off.
I'm not on American Idol. I don't think I'd make it there, but I shouldn't say that. But who knows? I'm not looking forward to going to American Idol anytime soon, or America's Got Talent, or whatever that is. But here's my song. I have no idea what it's going to be. We are coming soon. We are passing your moon. The sun is very bright. You'll see it every day and not at night. We are coming soon, going past the moon. Our ships are very big, and we shall show our light. That is, we are coming soon from many planetary systems beyond Earth. We are coming soon, and to see the new birth of the Earth. We are coming soon. Get ready, get ready, get ready. We are coming soon. Passing the moon. Once we pass the moon, you will see us close. You will see us near. You will see us most. We are coming soon, the star people from the universe beyond your knowledge. We are coming soon, not in a balloon. We are coming soon, going past the moon. We are coming soon. We are coming soon. We are coming soon. I hope that song made some sense. I just
That
sang
was
the song.
That was beautiful. I love it. You know, it's interesting because for a couple of years now, I've thought, I just feel like it's gonna be sooner than, like how some people were saying, oh, 2027, but I think it's gonna be much sooner. Like
Yeah, I think
I
you're
don't know,
right.
I feel it in my soul, in my heart.
No, I think it is sooner.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, I think we're going to go to sleep.
All
So
right.
I'm going to thank you for being here. You've been a great guest. We've had a great group of people here tonight. They'll be on tomorrow night. And I want to thank James for being there, my brother down there in Florida, and everybody else, all the people, my regular people in the studio that are sitting in their chairs watching the show, couches, whatever. We have plenty of seating in this show. So wherever you are around the world, we have unlimited seating. You don't have to buy tickets to come here.
Right.
So when you come to encounters, wherever you are in Europe or Asia or whatever, you have a free seat to sit down in. And if you want to have some tea or coffee or apple cider or some sort of organic juice, just bring it with you. Take care, everybody. Have a great night. And as always, things are happening. We'll be back with you tomorrow night here on Encounters.
Bye, everybody.